Welcome to New Business in Later Life, where we prove that it's never too late to pursue your entrepreneurial dreams. You will meet remarkable individuals who launch successful businesses over 50, sharing their stories, challenges, and enthusiasm. Your host, Ildiko, is a former social housing professional, textile designer, and teacher who described herself as a life artist. She is now a property professional, business network host, and facilitator of the Entrepreneurs Club. Subscribe now to hear these inspiring stories every week.
What kind of really comes through from what you are saying is that your work life and all the training you had, that those are all adaptable skills that you are really reaching back for to use in your own new business.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting because, yes, I've had an education background, but at the moment, I'm coaching leaders in the corporate world. And, it's interesting because what people are bringing to my coaching sessions from that background is really similar to what leaders are bringing to my coaching sessions from an education background. Yes. There's this. People still have a sense of, perhaps overwhelm in their job, that work-life balance, that sort of doubt, self-doubt, those limiting beliefs.
The classic imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. And, it doesn't matter sort of what background people are coming from. Once you step up into that leadership role, or even if you've been in that leadership role for quite a long time, you still sort of... Leadership is leadership, yes. And people, as you say, or whether I'm starting a new business, that's limiting beliefs, that's self-doubt.
Can I do it? I was going to sort of link back to my previous comment, is that although you have had a lot of training through your corporate teaching life, do you find now that you are still lacking skills in order to deliver your new business?
Yes.
Do you? So what sort of skills do you feel that you're lacking and you would actually still need training on?
Yeah, so the last sort of 8-9 weeks has been a massive learning curve. Just things like the technology, setting up a website. I've fortunately, my 17-year-old son has helped me with that, so that's great, and my husband as well. But even things like putting an event onto Eventbrite, or putting it onto a platform where I can sell tickets to a workshop. It's more probably those skills. It's the skills of marketing. I didn't know, for example, and I guess this is my naivety of not having lived in England before, I didn't know that you could buy data. And then so you could send out email campaigns.
But you lived in China and you didn't know you can buy data. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny, I was just going to say that I don't feel as much of a dinosaur anymore, because last night I was talking to my dad. He's 76, and of course I'm not British. I was brought up in Hungary, so he's not very computer literate, I suppose. He does use the computer for certain things, but he had no idea what Google was.
Oh, wow.
I had to try again and again and again to try. I said, when you turn the computer on and you search for something, that program that gives you the results, that's Google.
Yes. Wow.
Okay. And then, yes, I was explaining a problem to him, and he said, well, there's a little magazine here called Super Info with all the adverts. And I'm like, Dad, we live in the 21st century, not in the 19th.
Absolutely. But, it's really hard. I've reflected on that quite a bit with my own parents, and, how their life has changed over their 80 years, the lifetime of your parents.
50 or like just 30 years of our adult life.
I'm reading a great book called The Anxious Generation at the moment, and it's talking about sort of the mental health, but also the impact of things like the smartphone, and how the dynamics of children's childhood has changed a lot now, and perhaps not going. There's a risk element there, and parents are a lot more protective of their children, but allowing them to go on social media where they can meet complete strangers.
Probably just as protective as our parents were. It's just our risk was to go down onto the playground and fall off a climbing frame, or fell over on our bike, or maybe just go half a mile further from home.
Yes.
While today's children are just literally living their life like this.
Yeah.
And also, I have actually got a teaching degree as well.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do a lot of teaching because I always wanted to teach adults. So funny enough now, maybe I'll in the future go into some kind of mentoring, and that will be my vocation, I suppose. But I didn't really get on with the children.
Yeah.
I don't have any, so for me it's a foreign language.
Yes.
But when I was doing my teaching degree, one of our tasks was to find out from our mentor, who was the teacher under whom we taught, about social skills of the children. And she literally laughed at me when I asked this question, and she said, that went out the window 12 years ago when Facebook came in. I was like, okay. She said, yeah, I've been teaching 16 years and kids used to communicate. And since Facebook came in and smartphones have really taken off, 12 years ago, this was about 2018, she said, all social interaction just went out the window. And that was so shocking. Problems parents face nowadays, it's just a completely different set of problems.
Absolutely. Yep,
And
absolutely.
it's just unknown, isn't it? Because
It is.
it's changing so fast.
Absolutely. Yep. And I don't know whether sort of all parents are aware that you can put your parent restrictions on. It is difficult. And, you know, you're going back to sort of going on the playground and falling off, or riding your bike and falling off, but you get back on it.
Yes.
And that builds resilience. Whereas, you know, I think there's so much sort of online, and if you're comparing your likes to other people, and it can really impact your own self-esteem, everything like that, which perhaps then means that you won't get back on it. Do you know what I mean? It's
a very different environment for youngsters indeed.
Yeah.